Hello everybody, welcome back to Just Lights. In today's video, we're going to be talking a little bit about this LFE 12-inch traffic light right here. First thing I'm going to do is take this down, take it outside, give it a little bit of a bath. You can see it's kind of dirty. Talk a little bit about the history of these lights right here, and then we will plug it in and show it in action. So let's get to it. The Automatic Traffic Signal Division traffic light refers to a highly collectible vintage municipal traffic signal head manufactured by the Automatic Signal Division of Eastern Industry, later being referred to as the Laboratory for Electronics, or the LFE. These vintage 12-inch traffic lights featured a distinct cast metal or early polycarbonate housing stamped with the TCD Automatic Signal Traffic Control Division. They are highly prized by antique collectors and historians of roadside memorabilia and enthusiasts. The LFE era was from 1950 to the 1980s. The Laboratory for Electronics, or LFE, acquired the brand in the 1950s, operating out of Norwalk, Connecticut. The earlier models used heavy circular glass Fresnel lenses, while the later models from the 1970s to the 1980 models transitioned to durable plastic lenses. In the late 1980s, Mark IV Industries purchased both Automatic Signal and Eagle Signal, eventually merging the design under the Eagle name, now owned by Simmons and Mobotrex Company. Fun fact about the specific shape of this particular housing, it got nicknamed the button back due to the three circular looking buttons that are on the back side of the housing. Okay, so I got the light cleaned up about as good as I'm going to get it. So I figured before I put it back up on the hanger, I was going to kind of talk about the light a little bit, open it up, kind of show you the internal components of these things, how they say whether serviced it, changed the light bulbs, done repairs, and things like that. I also want to kind of show you a quick size comparison from an 8-inch traffic light to a 12-inch traffic light. Just in case you've heard that term but you're not sure what they're referring to the lens right here. So I got this one right here for a size comparison. This is for your standard 8-inch traffic light. So when you hold it up to the 12, you can see there's definitely a size difference here. This is the original version traffic light that originally came out back in the 1920s and ran predominantly till the late 60s, early 70s before they started converting to the 12-inch traffic light. When they first started converting these things to the 12-inch traffic light, they only just did the upper top section right here. So it's a 12-inch top, 8-inch on the bottom. And the reason they did that was because when interstates started getting more crowded, more cars were getting faster, stuff like that, they wanted to make sure that people had plenty of visibility of being able to see the light for stopping reasons. Because obviously somebody stopping is a little more important than somebody taking off on the traffic light. So having a bigger, brighter, be able to see from further distances made it much safer. And then after a while, they just went ahead and just decided to make the whole thing 12 inches. So not only did it make it bigger, it made the whole light brighter, more visible from further distances, especially for storm-related issues like snow, fog, rain, that kind of stuff. And that's when they essentially adapted the entire 12-inch traffic light system that you see right here. So let's go ahead and open this up real fast. So pretty much all your 12-inch traffic lights are going to have 2 locks on the side. Most of your 8 inches are generally going to have 1 lock on the side. There are some exceptions for the 8-inch, maybe having 2, but predominantly you're going to see just 1 on the side. So it's just a little wing nut. I've already done the lower one. You just undo the wing nut, swing it open, and you're going to see right here you got the lens that's attached to the door right here, and then you got your refractor right here. So instead of just changing a light bulb, they can literally just unscrew the light bulb, put a new one in there, back in service, done. But if they got to do some more repair work, like say the light socket has gone bad and they need to replace the light socket, they can actually open this part up and get to the back side of it. And the way this particular light is set up is every one of them have a system where they can replace the light socket. This one is done by this little wire right here. This wire, you literally, it's on a spring. You just pull it out some, you can drop it down, the light socket comes out, put the light socket back in. You're probably thinking, why would you want to replace the light socket? Well, if this thing is, say, sitting on the coast or something like that, and you got all that salt there and stuff like that, that stuff gets inside there, it starts to make cause corrosion, ruins the contacts, makes the light not work. So they might have to replace that, but so they don't have to replace the entire piece. They can just replace the light socket. Then there's disconnect the wires, reconnect the wires, and they're good to go. If, say, for some reason they got to replace this entire piece due to damage, whatever the case may be, or they're converting the light to a new LED system and they got to remove this actually just comes right out. They lift it up, pull it off the pins, and it comes right out. And that's how they take this center section right out, just like that. They have a little spring on the top. The reason for the spring is so when it's in place, when they swing it open like you just saw, it doesn't just fall out on them. Now, granted, it's going to be attached by wire, so it's not like it's going to land down on a car or anything like that, but you also don't want it falling down and breaking the bulbs or anything like that. And then when they're done, if they got to put this back in, they just put it back on the 2 original pins. They would go ahead and close it. Shut the door, tighten all the wing nuts down so this way it compresses the weather stripping to keep it weather tight, and they're back in business. let's go ahead and plug this light in real fast. Now this timer is a little on the slow side. Yeah, it's on. So this is pretty much one of my older lights, and the reason I say that is because this one's an all cast aluminum light right here. So the main body of the light is all cast aluminum. The doors are cast aluminum. The visors are aluminum, and the lenses themselves are glass. They did at some point when they were trying to find ways of saving cost, weight, and all that kind of stuff. They started using a polycarbonate, meaning like the entire housing you see right here would have been plastic. The doors would have been plastic. The visors would have been plastic. And they even had plastic lenses and stuff like that on them just to help save weight. And that was a little bit later on down the road. But the earlier versions pretty much were all cast aluminum. This is all a full cast aluminum light right here. And I don't know exactly how much this light weighs. I've never really weighed it, but they all vary in size based on the manufacturer. But this right here is my 12-inch LFE traffic light made by Automatic Signal Division. Like I said, I've probably had this light about 20 years. It's a really nice light to have in my collection. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Hope you got some great information from it. See you guys on the next one, and thanks for watching.